Riley was a captivating little child, and anyone who saw him often commented on his charm. When his mother pushed him around in his stroller, neighbors frequently mistook him for a girl, showering him with compliments about how lovely he looked. Laura, Riley's mother, enjoyed the attention and always thanked them graciously. At just 3 years old, Riley liked the warmth and affection but didn't yet understand the difference between being a boy and being perceived as a girl. In truth, Laura had always dreamed of having a daughter rather than a son. She wasn't troubled by the confusion over Riley's gender. In fact, she encouraged it. She dressed him in pretty dresses and coordinated accessories, ensuring he always appeared exactly as she envisioned. Riley, oblivious to the deeper implications, simply enjoyed the love and care he received, while his mother subtly shaped the way the world saw him. Everything changed one afternoon when Riley's father, Major Thomas Henry, unexpectedly returned from a 2-year overseas assignment. Laura was thrilled to see him but couldn't hide a flicker of nervousness. As Thomas stepped inside, his eyes immediately fell on something unusual. Riley stood in the middle of the room, delicate in a soft yellow dress, white lace-trimmed socks, shiny shoes, and his hair tied back with a satin ribbon. Thomas's confusion was obvious. "Thomas, please don't be upset," Laura said softly. "I've always longed for a little girl, and Riley has been such a sweet companion while you were away." "He's dressed like a girl," Thomas replied, his voice a mix of concern and disbelief. "I know," Laura explained gently. "It's been a special way for us to connect. He's been helping me, and it just feels natural for us." Riley's small voice piped up, shy and hopeful. "Daddy, are you going to stay with us now?" "Yes, I am, buddy," Thomas said, forcing a reassuring smile. "And I can't wait to spend time together. We'll have fun, play games, and do things I love." Laura exchanged a glance with him, her tone careful but firm. "Thomas, I'm not sure Riley would really enjoy baseball." "Of course he would," Thomas said, still clinging to his assumptions. "Boys like sports." Laura lifted Riley onto her lap, smoothing the fabric of his dress. "Thomas, while you were away, things have shifted a bit. The other wives and I decided that we don't want our sons to grow up pressured to become soldiers. We want them to be kind, sensitive, and peaceful." Thomas froze. "But I always imagined him enjoying the things I did, baseball, football, all that." "Well," Laura continued, her voice gentle, "Riley has different interests. He loves helping around the house, sewing, and cooking. He's not drawn to rough-and-tumble games." Riley nodded, clutching the edge of his dress, a shy smile forming. Thomas ran a hand through his hair, beginning to grasp the reality before him. "Wait, so you're serious? You really want him raised this way?" Laura had anticipated this moment and hoped she'd find the strength to face it. Meeting her husband's gaze, she said firmly yet gently, "Yes, Thomas, I want Riley to explore a different side of himself." Hearing this, Riley ran into his mother's arms. Laura comforted him softly, "It's okay, sweetheart. Daddy just needs time to understand what's best for you." She leaned close and whispered, "You're my little one, and I'll make sure no one forces you to change." Riley nodded, then waved shyly at his father before scampering off to play in his room. "Thomas," Laura began, her voice calm but resolute, "I love you, but in the 2 years you were away, Riley and I formed a very close bond, and we're both happy this way. I know it's a lot to take in, but this is what feels right for us." She continued, "I grew up as the eldest in a family of 5 sisters. I helped raise my younger siblings and learned how to care for little girls. When you were gone, I missed them deeply, and Riley became my closest companion. I simply wanted to share that love with him." Thomas listened intently as she explained. Laura went on, "One rainy afternoon, when Riley was 3, he grew restless after coloring all morning. I had an idea I'd been considering for some time. A few weeks after you left, I went shopping for dresses, slips, hair ribbons, socks, and little shoes, all for him. I shopped as if buying for a little girl." The saleswoman looked puzzled, but I didn't explain myself. Once we got home, I tucked everything away, unsure if I'd ever have the courage to dress him. She paused, then smiled as she continued. That rainy day, I took his coloring book and said, "Come here, sweetie. I have a special surprise for you." His eyes lit up when I showed him the new items, a delicate pair of pink, lace-trimmed underwear. Thomas leaned in, captivated by her recollection. I told him, "Hold on to Mommy's shoulder and step into your new clothes, dear." I didn't offer a choice, I wanted it to feel natural to him. Thomas, the moment I helped him into them, it felt right. Like I was finally sharing with him the little girl I'd always imagined. Laura laughed softly at the memory. Riley looked so sweet, and he seemed to enjoy it too, he even smiled a little. I said, "That's right, sweetie. You look lovely in your new outfit. Every little one enjoys pretty clothes." Her excitement continued as she recounted, then I reached for the petticoat I had bought, hoping he'd accept it willingly. "How did he react?" Thomas asked, curiosity and concern in his voice. "He was mesmerized," Laura said. "Almost lost in the moment. I had to gently guide him and said, 'Lift your arms so I can help you into this.'" "Did he resist?" Thomas asked, his concern growing. "No," Laura replied. "He didn't resist at all. In fact, he sighed softly as I put it on him, and seemed to embrace it. And then, you won't believe what happened next." "What?" Thomas asked, leaning forward. "He started crying, softly, like a little child, and hugged me around the waist," Laura said. "I think it was just overwhelming for him." Feeling the depth of her bond with Riley, Laura gently eased the tension. "Sweetheart, you look wonderful. Can you twirl for Mommy and show me your skirt?" Riley spun gracefully, and Laura couldn't help but smile. She grabbed a camera and captured the moment, though Riley blushed a little later when he saw the photo, realizing his undergarments peeked out from beneath the petticoat. As Laura spoke, Major Henry listened closely, absorbing the story of Riley's early experiences. He could sense his wife's deep love for their child, yet he also noticed that her longing for a daughter had strongly influenced how Riley had been raised. Wanting to understand Riley's feelings for himself, Major Henry decided he would eventually speak with him directly, but for now, he let Laura continue her story. Laura continued, "Once Riley was dressed in his petticoat and undergarments, I was excited to put a dress on him. I told him how lovely he looked in the petticoat but reminded him that every little girl wore a pretty dress over it. He nodded obediently, and I gently helped him into a pink satin dress with an organza overlay. It had delicate beaded accents and a large bow at the waist. I zipped it up carefully, and when he was ready, he truly looked like a little princess. I was so overwhelmed with happiness that tears came to my eyes." Major Henry listened quietly, still processing the scene. Laura had hoped to ease him into understanding, but her early return had caught everyone off guard. Realizing it was time, he turned to Laura and said, "Call Riley over, please." "Riley, sweetheart, come here," Laura called gently. Riley appeared, clutching a doll, and Major Henry was struck by how tenderly his child held it, looking completely at ease in the dress. He walked slowly toward Laura, still shy around his father after spending so much time only with her. Leaning close, he whispered, "Mommy, am I still going to be a girl now that Daddy's home?" Laura smiled and whispered back, "Of course, sweetie. You'll always be Mommy's little girl." "Promise me, Mommy," Riley said softly. "Yes, darling. I promise," she reassured him warmly. Sensing the closeness between them, Major Henry said, "Let's be honest with each other. I'm part of this family too." Laura looked at him, a little surprised, and said, "You really understand now, don't you? You see how important this is to me." Thomas nodded and then turned to Riley. "Come here, son." Reluctantly, Riley approached his father. Thomas tried to make sense of the situation and asked carefully, "Riley, I can see how close you are to your mother. You dress like her, act like her, and embrace being a girl. I need you to tell me honestly, do you want to continue being a little girl?" Riley, now 4, nodded confidently. Yes, Daddy. I want to be a girl, just like Mommy. Thomas paused, thinking carefully. Riley, if this is what you want, it means you'll remain a girl. You can't switch back and forth. Laura watched with hope as he spoke gently to their son. Thomas continued, if you're going to be a girl, you'll wear dresses, skirts, and nightgowns like Mommy. We'll let your hair grow long, and you'll always be treated politely and respectfully, like a young lady. Is that what you want? Riley smiled and nodded. Yes, Daddy, and, to their surprise, he gave a small, shy curtsy. Laura's heart swelled with joy. Thomas seemed to understand, and she knew their family would find happiness raising their daughter together. That night, she dressed Riley in a soft pink nightgown with matching undergarments, handed him his doll, and tucked him into bed. Riley felt loved, secure, and content, knowing he would always have the care and attention of both his parents. As Riley grew into a thoughtful preteen and teenager, both parents remained supportive and encouraging. Enrolled in an all-girls school, Riley embraced lessons in poise, kindness, and femininity, making Laura and Thomas proud. Time and again, Riley would smile and say, "Thank you, Mommy, for helping me be who I am." If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.